cooking. Yes, indeed, we're cooking. You and me, we're cooking. Cooking with Chef D.
Hi, I'm Chef D and welcome to my home. Today we're going to take you 20 minutes away from here to New Dundee to a trout farm. Yes, a trout farm where we're going to do some fishing, do some amazing recipes, and we might even have a special guest. I'm Chef D. We usually do it at home with Chef D, but this year we're taking you to a whole bunch of different farms, and today is no different. We're out here in New Dundee at a trout farm, and I'm here with Clark. Clark, the owner. Clark, thank you for having us.
Good to be here.
So tell me about your farm and your pond and how it all came about.
Well, there's a little bit of backstory. This pond has actually been here since the 50s. So one of our taglines is generations of memories, because we actually see 3 and 4 generations of people coming to fish at our pond, and with their grandparents, great-grandparents. But right here we have a 1.5 acre pond. It's stocked with 3,000 to 3,500 pounds of fish. So it's about 1,000 to 1,500 fish. And what we've tried to do here is to package the fishing experience into something that everybody can experience. So we try and stock it at a density where everybody's able to catch something and enjoy that experience. And we also clean the fish, so you leave with the fish on ice ready for your barbecue.
Perfect. So tell me about the pond and where the water comes from as it circulates through the pond.
So the neat thing about this pond is that it's pristine water. All of the water has originated on the same property, with the exception of a couple hundred gallons a minute. But through this pond, we have about 1,200 gallons a minute. Wow. That's the equivalent of about 140 garden hoses at full blast. So it's beautiful, beautiful water, and ideal for a fish pond.
So not only do you do the whole experience for, like you said, generation to generation, but you also you do a hatchery here as well, right?
Yeah, that's a neat part of our business. This is about 15% of our overall business. The remainder is we do about 2 million small fish, so about 6-inch rainbow trout. And those will go to the producers that'll then supply your grocery stores. And we also do about 8 million eggs a year from our own breeding program here as well.
So when people come out, they can come out anytime and grab some fish from you, right? Or do they have to phone you and say, hey, can we come out? Or how does that work?
Yeah, so we're open 7 days a week now. When school's out, we're open 7 days a week. So 9 until 6. And on either side of that, it's usually late April until June 24th or June 30th, whenever school gets out. We'll be on weekends and holidays, and it goes then from September until Thanksgiving weekends and holidays as well.
Now, does this freeze over in the winter then?
Just barely, but we have abstained from ice fishing based on my insurance policy and my insurance guy's advice. We shut it down for the winter.
Okay, so the season really from April to the end of October, early November, come out and you can fish to your heart's delight, or
absolutely.
How does that work, and what's the cost involved in this?
So the typical fish is at 3 pounds. We have a few larger fish in here, maybe 30 or 40 that are caught per year. That would be above the 8-pound range, but a typical fish will cost you about $25. That includes unlimited bait, it includes complimentary fish cleaning, and in addition to that, there's $5 per rod for admission. So if you bring your family, you only want 2 rods, it's only 2 rods that you're paying for admission, so a total of $10. So
wow, pretty affordable to have a really good time. And
absolutely.
You guarantee them going home with a fish.
Absolutely.
Because I saw a little pond over the Chef D style fishing.
The secret fishing hole. So if you don't like fishing at all and you want to be able to still experience fresh fish, you can net fish out of a live tank that we have. It's our secret fishing hole, and that will allow us to clean your fish right away. You leave with a fish that was swimming just minutes earlier. You know where it came from. You know it's sustainably sourced. We're a federally certified hatchery, and that requires a significant amount of background work on our perspective. And or if you just don't catch as many fish as you'd like to, then that's there for an extra surge as well. So
nice. We touched on it before, just a little bit of the sustainability of having the pond in here, and what does that mean to you?
Well, as an overall business, that's one of our core values in our mission and vision statement, is sustainability overall. We want to reduce our environmental impact, but also improve what we have as much as possible. The water is our livelihood. It is in our best interest to preserve that as much as possible. So that goes from making sure we buy sustainably sourced seafood or pelleted food. That that fish feed comes from New Brunswick, and there's a significant amount of regulation on the feed industry to make sure that they're using sustainable and traceable food sources. And more all the time, they're trying to replace fish-based ingredients with plant-based proteins and nucleotides and things like that.
So now, do you do the feed on a regular basis, or do the fish kind of feed off themselves as well?
Based on the stocking density of this pond here, we do have to feed the fish quite consistently just to make sure they have a balanced diet.
Yep.
Their amino acids, omega-3s are all consistent throughout, and our diet that we feed them is critically focused on that specifically.
And so the other thing, you have trout in here, but you also mentioned you have some other fish as well.
Yeah, just as being an open water body,
Yep.
there's herons, there's different birds that will always have different fish eggs on them.
Yeah.
So we do have some carp in here as well, and that's typical of most ponds in this area. There's always going to be some invading species that'll be, you didn't stock them specifically, but Mother Nature did it for you. So.
And so the other part is, how deep would the deepest part of the pond be?
So it's about 12 feet at the very deepest part. There is different spots around this pond, and our staff are very well trained on. If you
Yeah.
want to spend a whole afternoon here and go fishing and only catch 3 fish, we can show you how to do that. If you're a single mom with a couple of kids, you want to get in and out as
Yeah.
quick as you can, we can also help you do that. So our whole goal is to make sure that we are enriching your experience here, because we want to make sure that the customer is the top priority, and whatever your definition of success is, we want to make sure we meet that. So
That's pretty cool. Well, I happen to see that we Chef Dan from the Red House is out here fishing. Brother, are you catching the catch of the day out here?
Well, we're all locally sourced stuff ourselves, right? So trying to feed the menu for the weekend here.
sounds good.
Lost it there at the last second.
So I'm back here with Chef Dan from the Red House, where we're going to be using some amazing fresh product. And I know that a lot of times we talk off air and that about, about getting the freshest ingredients as possible. I don't think we can get anything fresher than right here, right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think we need some inspiration. My good friends at Steam Whistle, Harry and the boys made sure that we had something cold while we were cooking outside.
Beautiful. Now you're speaking my language. Fresh product and fresh beer.
Cheers. Okay, so I'm going to get started with the whole trout. And just like Clark was mentioning on air, is that they will actually take the head off, clean it out for you, so it's all ready to go. And it's absolutely fantastic, as you can just see, and away you go. And when you take it home, if it's really slimy, the fresher the fish, the slimier the fish. So don't worry about that at all. So we're going to take some, and you've done some amazing work here. We have some oyster mushrooms, some fresh limes. Sorry, we're reaching across here.
Perfect, yeah.
And then we're going to put some lemon in here.
Just got a nice steam in there as it
Exactly,
cooks.
exactly. A little bit of fresh spring onions. And then different herbs. And we have a whole bunch of different ones here. I'm taking what you need. So we have some basil, we have some mint, we have some cilantro. And you just put it in just like so. It doesn't have to be neat. It doesn't have to be pretty. That's what's so great about this. Now, we're going to take it from here, and we're going to put it on our Broil King keg, because it's charcoal flavor, and you get the smoke coming out of it, and it's absolutely fantastic. So let me just take this. On it goes. Now our barbecue is about 450 degrees, and we're going to keep it there for about 15 to 18 minutes, or you get internal temperature about 100, and I like doing about 155, so it's just still a little opaque in the middle,
For sure.
and it's still really safe for you because we know where it's coming from. So fast forward, magic of TV.
Of course. I like when you put all the stuff in there too, it sort of steams, it helps keep the fish moist too as it cooks.
Exactly. And you're going to see how great this looks. Just the skin's starting to firm up nicely, and just see how you pull that apart. And just like you were mentioning, how great it is just to pull that off. Look at that.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I'll have a little piece of that.
Of course.
Again. Wow.
Fantastic.
Wow. So fresh. Of course it is. That was really bad, but amazing. Simple and easy because you have such great ingredients here. You don't want to over season it. You don't want to over put too much in. Just kind of everything to complement it. And if you want to, you could actually take some steam whistle and put some steam whistle over the fish, wrap it in some foil, and away you go. Now
I wouldn't judge you.
Now you have a recipe that we're going to work on.
For sure. So something as fresh as this too, like one of the best applications for real fresh fish is to do a tartare. So lots of different ones. Like, I mean, tuna's been sort of a very famous one, or salmon, or lots of that sort of stuff. But we got this great local trout. There's just nothing like doing it nice and fresh as well. So just try and take a little bit of this off the skin.
I'm sorry, I should add a little sharper knife for you.
That's all good. More just for filleting it off the
Exactly.
skin. Yeah.
And the great thing too is when you come out to the trout farm, they'll fillet it all for you. You don't have to worry about doing anything. That's what, so you know, if you're kind of leery about that, I'll move this out of the way for you.
Thank you. So yeah, if you just like try and dice it just nice and small. This is a great sort of a starter while you're waiting, while you got the barbecue going.
Right.
Or
While you're doing that, I might have a sip of my beer.
I see how it works here. You get me working.
You know, it might be at home with Chef D. Well, there you go, Dan.
The sous chef.
So again, just chop it up nice and
So
fine.
nice small dice, something like
Okay.
that.
Yep.
And then also just some other nice fresh ingredients too. So I got some chopped up cucumber here,
Yep.
just nice and fine dice. A little bit of the cilantro and mint that was really just fine diced up. Touch of the green onion, and then just some nice fresh lemon juice.
Okay. Now, do you need any seasoning, any salt or pepper with that?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, you always want to add a little bit of salt and pepper to really bring all that stuff together.
Now, at home, would you be putting this in the refrigerator for a half an hour before you serve it, or you can just serve it right away?
You want it to be served cold for sure. So
Okay.
yeah, if you want to let it chill and let all the flavors there kind of come together, and then just on something crisp. So I mean, anything's interchangeable here, but as long as you got a bit of acidity, so we're using lemon here, but just something to dress it up. But then you can eat it just like that, or maybe on you know, some toast, or on even just a couple whole cucumber slices. It's very versatile that way.
So now you can set it in the refrigerator for how long would be the maximum that you want to do?
Oh, I would say, you know, your fish, like you want to cut it fresh, and then I would let it sit a couple hours beforehand. So if you want to do this before you've got people coming over, and then when they come, it's ready to go, you should be good to go.
Okay, perfect. Well, when we come back, we're going to be doing some more recipes with just fillets. And join us in just a couple minutes, won't you, on At Home with Chef D, live at a trout farm. People always stop and ask me, Chef, what do I look for in a knife? And I thought I'd bring my expert Richard from S.t.o.p here, and we're going to go through a whole bunch of different knives. And you have, okay, it's like a kid in a candy store. You know how you used to go, I want it, need it, got it? Well, that's me here today. So thank you for having us here. And then now, I brought out the Mercer, and these are all inexpensive knives that you could also give to students or somebody that wants to kind of get started in the cooking.
Yes, the way that I love to sell knives is realistically the person has to feel good in their hands. And it's great to give knives as gifts, but ultimately it doesn't matter whether it's a $170 knife or a $25 knife. If it doesn't feel good in the hands, it's not going to be very effective. So we have a wide range of knives, different weights, different materials, different metals, different handles. And as long as it feels good in your hand, you're going to go a long way. You had mentioned the difference between a student getting into the business, not 100% sure if they're going to be there for a long time. And then also if there's going to be a potential of losing the knives,
Right.
because in a kitchen it gets pretty crazy, you can lose a knife. It's a lot better to make a $25 investment
Exactly.
than it is $170.
Now, when you're making the $25 investment up to people are coming into your store and sometimes seeing like $176 up to $300, can you explain the different steels versus that?
I can certainly touch on that.
Okay.
It's all has to do with alloys, how the steel is blended, carbons versus aluminums versus the differing stainless steels as well. Each one adds something different to the process. Either it holds its edge longer, either it is resistant to rust, it could be lighter in the hand, it could, there's a bunch of things that could play into that. At the end of the day, exactly what you pay is what you're getting in quality of knife. The more you pay, you are getting a better knife.
And don't forget, when you buy a professional knife or a knife like what we're going to be showing you in just a second, you're going to have that for between 20 to 50 years. You could be passing them down to the next generation coming up, that type of thing. So the knives that when people ask me, so chef, what knife should I have in my drawer or in my block? These are the knives that I truly recommend that you use, and then you can take it from there. So I always like a chef's knife. Now this is an 8-inch chef knife, absolutely great. As you can see, mine is a 12-inch. I just like the bigger knife, and as Richard mentioned, if it doesn't feel good in your hand, it's not going to work. So again, I love the bigger knife. So if you like the smaller knife, you have the two different chef's knives there. Then you want to go into a Sanduko knife, which is kind of bringing the German to the Oriental,
Asian, yeah.
right? And you have the little indents here, and what this does is when you're chopping is that the food doesn't stick to it. So it's an amazing, easy to do that. The other one is a paring knife. You can spend as much or as little as you want, but you really want a great paring knife to, peel skins, to peel potatoes, whatever. This is a great thing.
Most people don't realize the difference a sharp knife makes because a lot of times you've only spent time dealing with dull or ineffective knives, and you figure that's what it's about.
Right.
It's not until you get it sharpened or honed that you use it again, and it's like this is the best thing since sliced bread.
Perfect. Which kind of comes into our next knife, which is a serrated knife, which is absolutely perfect. Not only is it for bread, but we mentioned earlier that you saw that when you're cutting tomatoes, you want to use a serrated knife. And away we go. Now you mentioned something that is so important is sharpening and caring for your knife.
Yes.
Right? Because we have the steel that everybody knows and sees, and you take your knife and you run it along the steel just like so. What that does, it hones your knife. There's sharpening and honing. Honing brings all the fibers back so that it's actually perfect like this again, and that's what you do when you hone it. You want to come into a place like S.t.o.p and get it professionally sharpened, because you sharpen all knives
Yes.
here.
Yeah,
right?
and we do it while you wait, and the process is it is a sharpening, so there is technically metal coming off of the blade, and it's taking those teeth and making them sharper. The honing process of that Daryl was referring to is taking the teeth, and every knife actually has teeth on it. They're microscopic on a regular knife, and just taking those teeth and realigning them so that now that they're straight. And that's what this type of a steel does, and in these processes as well, these handheld, it's a lot easier, and that's what they're doing as well too. They're not removing any of the metals and making them sharper. It's strictly taking those teeth and straightening them.
Thank you for your time today. Thank you for letting us kind of come in and invade your space here and learn a little bit more about knives, Richard. I really appreciate it.
You're always welcome back.
Thank you. Welcome back, and I'm here with Chef Dan from the Red House. We're out at the Lyndon Fish Hatchery farm. It's absolutely great. We're doing some great work with some trout. So now it's fillet time. So we've done a whole trout. We've done a little tartare. So now it's all about fillet. So what are you going to do?
Well, we want to do a nice crisp fillet here, so we're going to we got to just cut up just a little bit. Just took that belly off there. In fact, the belly is nice to save for the tartare. That way you're using the whole sort of fish. So first thing first, I'm just going to season it with a little salt and pepper.
And I'm going to steal the pepper from you while you're doing that.
Perfect. Yeah, on both sides. Now, if you like a little bit of extra crisp, you can do it a little dredge in the flour. Helps just get it like nice and crusty on both sides. Obviously, if you're gluten intolerant or people are trying to watch that, not necessary. You just need to have a little, make sure you got some good heat in your pan so it doesn't stick. We'll just get that going, a little bit of nice butter.
Perfect. Oh, it smells already. The butter just smells amazing.
I didn't do anything yet.
No.
You know you're good, Lynn. Yeah, so just light, dust that right off.
Yep.
And now we're always tilt the pan so you get the oil away from you.
Yep.
Last thing you want to do is splash the oil.
Exactly.
I'm sure you've been through that experience before.
But also too, you can do this, now we're doing it for trout, but you can do it for halibut, you can do it for cod and haddock as well, doing the same type of process as what we're doing here.
And I always like to do skin side down. You let that skin cook so it gets nice and crispy, and then you just finish it on the flesh side.
Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I've seasoned it just with a little bit of salt and pepper, and you take the whole fillet, and we have our Broil King keg. So this is what's really great about this. It's charcoal. You're going to get the smoky flavor. It's going to kind of get into the fat and be absolutely fantastic. It's going to go on our grill here beside our other fish that's been cooking. And away we go. Now, what I've done here is just taken some baby potatoes and put them in foil with a little bit of onions and butter. And that's going to be our side for what we're doing tonight. And if at home you want to use oven mitts, but you know, over the years, being doing this so often, as you all know,
no nerves left on the hands, eh, Chef?
So we're going to take some potatoes out. We're going to invite our good friend Clark back in. Hey Clark, we've been cooking out here with some amazing trout out at your farm here.
Oh, it looks delicious.
But hold on, I have to reach across here for a second because you need some coolant, as it were.
It's all in a hard day's work,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Well, cheers. Thank you for allowing us out here.
Thank you.
Cheers.
So we have some potatoes here, and just for the magic of TV, and again, just want to emphasize this point, is actually the Fillet's been on the keg about 500 degrees for about the last about 8 to 9 minutes now. So we're going to pull that off.
Oh, beautiful.
Now, we took the biggest piece possible.
Absolutely. Go big or go home.
That's right. Now, if you want, you can always cut the skin just a little bit along the back of it, and it's not going to pop up like this. And what I've done here is I've just made a little bit of lemon butter sauce. If this is really easy, and we've done this many times before, is if you just want to kind of reduce down some lemon white wine and then add some 35% cream, reduce that down so you just have all the great fat and flavor left. Put that over here for you. And since we're outside, this is so typical. Please, I want you to try and see what you think.
Oh, it looks amazing.
Oh, thanks, Chef.
You're welcome.
That tastes so fresh.
I'm just going to turn this up just a touch. There we go. We're going to get that nice and hot. It'll be ready in just a couple minutes. We have, what we've done here is taken some lentils, and I'm going to take some lentils here, put the lentils on the bottom of the plate. Grab some sunflower shoots. Just kind of put that across. A little bit of fresh lemon juice. And then, Dan, when your fish is ready to go, we're going to put that on top of the lentils and that. I just want to say thanks a lot for having us out at your farm. Something totally different. When you think of farms, you always think of maybe beef, poultry, and a whole bunch of vegetables, but you can also do some amazing things with fish on a farm.
Absolutely. No, and what we love is that it's an experience here as well. So we're able to experience fresh local rainbow trout that was just swimming hours ago, and it's all egg to plate at this farm. So it's a really neat opportunity, and we hope to see you guys out soon too.
Again, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Brother,
Cool.
thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
As a chef, we're always looking for the freshest, greatest ingredients. We've been out here at the Lyndon Fish Pond where we've got some amazing fresh rainbow trout. We did 4 different recipes with my good friend Chef Dan from the Red House. We have a pan fried, we have a fillet that's been done on the charcoal keg, we have a trout tartare, and of course the whole side. Till next time, I'm Chef D on the farm.
Join us if you're able. We'll be at the kitchen table, cooking with Chef D.